Hey, greetings. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the Inner Circle podcast. Zach Klein, Todd France, Matt Ryan, and Aaron Donald coming up on the show. Run the ball. Matt explains who is doing it really well. AD points out the team that needs to step it up. AD also has his worst team defensively in the National Football League. In fact, there are two that are so bad, he has to put them in the same breath. We also explain the reason New England offensively is able to spread the wealth, and we are even talking some college ball. One of our guys saying it's completely out of control, and where everyone thinks Lane Kiffin will be the head coach next year. We got our 2-minute drill. We got AD's Defensive Player of the Week. But first, how teams get scouting reports on referee crews and just a brutal week in the NFL, injury-wise. Enjoy. I want to start with the Daniels play. Midway through the fourth quarter, the Commanders are down 38-7, and he is still in the game. Dan Quinn did own it on Monday afterwards. But should coaches play starters late in blowouts, AD and Matt? Where do you stand on A1 guys beating the game late when the game is out of control?
It all depends how the game is going, because we can go back. I know it was a different time frame, but when the Broncos came back and beat the Giants and scored 33 points in the fourth quarter, right? And I know Daniels was just coming back off an injury, right? I don't think he played a great game. You know, I feel like he looked a little flustered. As soon as he looked, he was running a lot. But you never expect the injuries to happen. It's a part of the game, right? I think they was down in the red zone, about to score. They're probably trying to get something going, see if he gets some points on the board, and probably potentially take him out after if they would have scored. But it was a freak injury, right? I like that he was out there fighting, still trying to find a way to, score some points for his team and not quitting on them, right? Not being like, we down, whatever we down. It's a fourth quarter, 7 minutes left, whatever it was. I'm done, right? As a leader, you want your guys out there still battling for you, still trying to find ways to score points, man. And it was a freak injury that happened, but that's just a part of the game. You know, you never want things like that to happen, but that's football at the end of the day, right? So
yeah, I think as players, we always hated coming out of the game, right? You never wanted to, even in a blowout, you just never want it to come out. You want to be out there. You want to keep playing. Yeah, exactly. I think you're just hardwired that way. And I do think there is a level of coaches having to protect players from themselves. In that ball game, it is over. And, I think the responsibility and the job of a head coach is to have vision forward, post-game, the rest of the season, knowing that, midway through the fourth quarter down, what were they down? 38-7. This ball game is over. They're not going to win this football game. And you've got to be able to compartmentalize that and think about next week and the following week and the future in those scenarios. And I think Dan owned that, Zach, to your point, he owned that afterwards. And probably no one feels worse about that than Dan Quinn, knowing him, having played for him, knowing how much he cares for his players. Nobody feels worse about that than Dan. And so I'm sure he feels awful at this point. I'm sure he'll learn, from that mistake. But we talk about the injuries from the weekend, and Jayden is a huge one. For sure, but their team is sliding, right? And they're heading in the wrong direction. Talk about two football teams that aren't heading in the wrong direction. Maybe the Packers with that tough loss, but that Tucker Kraft injury is huge for the Packers. He was coming on as maybe their go-to guy in terms of the passing game. And the other one I think about is Joe Alt in L.A. with the Chargers. Their team had been trending in the right direction. They had another tackle go down. Joe Alt went down second, and it looks like I think he's out for the remainder of the year. And so, that's a team that was right there at the top of the AFC West alongside the Broncos and just in front of the Chiefs. Those two, to me, are on those teams that are contending, that are huge impact players. That's going to be a problem for them moving forward.
It's a tough call, guys. I remember working in Orlando and got into it with Magic head coach Stan Van Gundy when the Magic had already clinched a spot in the playoffs. They couldn't move up or down in their seeding, but Tracy McGrady was playing. And I'm like, well, why is he still in the game? And he got into it because the coach's mentality. And AD, you brought up a really good point. Like, I guess the coaches, there comes a point when they think it's over, but deep down, I think they always think that they can come back and win, right? There's that feeling that we're never out of it. And you brought up a great point in the Broncos game. It's not what it was in the Washington game in terms of the score, but these coaches just deep down believe in their guys and they can get it done, don't they?
And it's like that. And it's sometimes the players, right? Like I said, it's that that battle mentality, that, that gladiator mindset, right? There's games that we was blowing teams out, and I just came back off an injury, right? And I wanted to get I felt like I was a little, quick-winded. So I wanted to get a couple more snaps and play more. They're like, no, we don't need you. I'm like, no, I'm going in this serious. I'm gonna get this drive because I feel like, let me get myself going. Because sometimes, sometimes the coach got to try to, protect the player from himself. Because sometimes that mindset is, I ain't done, no matter if you winning. Sometimes you get your ass whooped and you be like, nah, I'm trying to make a play, make something happen. I ain't gonna just quit on my team, right? I don't want to come off like that. So sometimes the guys just want to be out there and battle, man. Find ways that, as a leader, to still be out there and fight with your team to the last second. So it's tough. It's tough, man. It's just the nature of the business, the nature of the sport, right? So,
hey, Todd, how do injuries affect contracts?
Sorry, I was just getting traded.
Yeah, whoa, we got, it's trade day.
Not
it's
my
NFL,
guy. Not my guy.
It's NFL trading deadline. Hold up. You're looking at your phone. Do we have trades you're breaking for us here?
No, I'm not breaking anything. But especially by the time this gets out tomorrow. But it's interesting, though, from an agent's perspective, because when you find out about a trade, even if it's not your guy, it still could impact your guy. And so, where like the Jags just traded for Jacoby Myers. So, you have a receiver, Brian Thomas, over there. You're like, okay, well, how does that impact him? Because they also have, the kid with the Hunter kid. And so how does that impact things? And your guy's dealing with an ankle injury. But then you look at it from the flip side, your second round pick on the Raiders, Jack Besh, all of a sudden now they just moved their receiver out. It opens up a spot for him to be more productive. So it's just interesting how it affects everything, and how every move is just a ripple effect. And it's why you live on like the social media world for an agent, because it's just always changing and so much going on. But anyways, to answer your question on injuries and contracts, look, I'm not a doctor, but I feel like I could play one because I've learned so much about the medical world dealing with players and injuries and second opinions and stuff. And different injuries impact guys in different ways, and different positions are impacted in different ways. An ACL, not as big of a deal today in today's world. Achilles is still a big deal. And that's because of the explosiveness, and for different positions, right? That a wide receiver or defensive end, that's going to be a tough one to come back from, and takes time. Concussions, it's a problem overall for all the guys. You can go through all of it. Back injuries, just because of the lack of understanding of backs, has become a huge thing. And it's not just veterans and their contracts. This affects the draft prospects too, coming out of college, and understanding their history and how available they're going to be, for the rookie year and all that kind of stuff. You as an agent, you have to really get into these second opinions, and we do it all the time. I think we've talked about it before, and you have to have really well-documented information. But at the end of the day, it's your doctor versus the team doctor, and the general manager is always going to lean on his own doctors. You're just trying to at least present another side, because sometimes you deal with emotions with general managers, right, who really want the player, and they're just looking for whatever excuse to justify to squeeze that round peg into the square hole. But, we've done it before. I've dealt with it with, Bud Dupree tore his ACL in December, and then was a free agent in March. Ultimately signed, I think it was a 5-year, $80-something million contract, because that GM and their doctors felt fine with it. Now, that's in December. So that's only, 4 months later, as opposed to if he did that in September, there may have been more teams that were interested. But because it was so late, teams also look at it from like the ACL. They'll say the first year, they don't think the guy is who he really is. He's not back to it. They need a whole nother year after that to where they can see who he really is. Kenny Golladay missed 11 games in his last year, became third highest paid receivers. At the end of the day, team docs are going to have their opinions. And here's the crazy thing. All teams, totally different. So one team doc can think one thing and maybe fail a guy on a physical and not want him, whereas another team might be like, we're okay with that. And a lot of that comes to, how conservative a doctor is, or if they dealt with a player in the past and they've been burned by it. All these different things come into play. So there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to contracts and injuries, whether it's rookies or veterans or whatever it may be.
You mentioned Jack Besh, your wide receiver. Will you call him or any of your guys, whether they move up or down on the depth chart, and say, this is your opportunity? Or to your point, if you were a number one tackle, wide receiver, running back, and they bring in somebody else, what's those conversations looking like?
For sure. I mean, obviously the conversations depend on whether you're going up or down or what the situation is, but you're definitely having those conversations. And listen, different guys have different personalities, right? Some guys could care less and some guys get frustrated by it. So you just got to play to the personality of your client and make sure that they understand what the situation is. And if you don't really know, then you got to dig deep and understand what the situation is and find out directly from the source, the GM. I'm not going to sit here and guess or read social media. I'm going direct to the source. I'm getting the information and I'm going to be as transparent as I can with my guy because we're on the same team. I want nothing but the best for him. You can't be an agent that just sits there and strokes players and blows them up with hot air. Like if they need to do more or they didn't give that GM a comfort factor, we got to let them know that. And how are we going to adjust and what are we going to do? Because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. I'm not going to do that with my guys. I want to be real with them and we're going to get the most out of it and we'll work around whatever situations, we're facing.
Matt, again, you were in the KC Buffalo game. It's fixed, right? The NFL's fixed. Everybody's tired of the Chiefs winning, so they had that pass interference called. Third down, third quarter, Chiefs are driving. Mahomes passes tipped at the line by, the Buffalo Bills. Officials called an intentional grounding, even though it was tipped. The Chiefs tried to challenge the play. They were told it wasn't reviewable. Everybody's chiming in on this play. So for Matt and AD, how do you avoid momentum-killing plays by the refs where it goes one way or the other, where you're moving, you're driving, next thing you know, it's stalled and you see it right there. It shouldn't have been.
Well, we crush the referees all the time, right? As players, that's a bad call. This is a bad call. This is a bad call. I actually think Carl Cheffers did an excellent job right there. It's a confusing, and part of like being an analyst or calling games is you've got to know these rules. And Gene, I thought this one is about as obscure as you can get, right, in terms of the ruling. But after kind of talking to everybody about this situation and then hearing the explanation, so they actually got it right. There are three parts of tip balls with intentional grounding that are reviewable. Number one being, you can review where the pass landed. So was it past the line of scrimmage? You can take a look at that. The ball needs to go past the line of scrimmage or else it's intentional grounding. Number two, you can determine whether or not the quarterback was in the pocket. So the tackle box, right? Inside or outside the tackle box. And then number three, you can review where the ball was released. And that's basically to find out where they're going to spot the ball if, in fact, it is intentional grounding. The ball being tipped is only a consideration for whether or not it's intentional grounding. So it's different from a pass interference call, where if the ball is tipped in a pass interference call, it's dead, right? Like you can do whatever you want after it's tipped. So you can go knock the wide receiver down, but it's only a part of consideration for the referees in this type of situation, right? So if it's tipped and maybe that really felt like, that altered where the ball was going and it was going towards somebody, they can consider that, but it's not rule. And therefore it's not reviewable. So I thought that the referees did an excellent job of getting it right in a high, fast-paced, critical situation in that game. It was loud in the stadium as that was going on. People were, going nuts, and then the place exploded when the ruling went in favor of Buffalo. So shout out to the referees, because I feel like as players and as analysts and everybody, we get on them all the time. Carl and his staff did a great job there. But as a player in that type of situation, listen, this is out of our control. And there's going to be good calls and bad calls and calls that you feel strongly about that don't go your way, or maybe you didn't get. And there ain't a damn thing you can do. You have to move on. You have to play the next play.
Control what you can control.
You've got to be locked in.
Yep.
Yes, control what you can control.
Exactly.
And that is all you can do, because if the frustration of the call or the frustration of the non-call impacts what you do on the following play, man, you lost, right? You lost that situation. You have to be ready for whatever comes your way as a player.
AD, what was your average snap count, would you say, in the game? How many plays?
Shit, if we played 70 snaps, I was going to at least play 68 snaps.
All of them.
I wanted to play all of them, but as I got older, it's to tell me before work with me. We need you week 7 to playoffs. Take care of your body. At least take 65 snaps if we play 70. Don't try to take all 70. So I had to be better at that as I got older. But
all right, so let's say the 65 or 70 snaps you played. How many of those snaps did you think you were being held?
Shit,
65.
Yeah, damn near every play, honestly. But that's a part of the game, man. I feel like offensive lineman's job is to find ways to stop you, right? Holding is a part of the game, as long as it ain't like blatant to the point when I'm running away and you still hold me. But holding's every damn play, honestly, in the trenches. You can't. That's why I stopped even complaining to the ref about this shit. He even gonna see it and throw the flag, or I'm just gonna keep playing because it's just wasting my breath going back and forth with the ref. If he ain't see it, he ain't see it. It ain't gonna stop. Just do it the next play and trying to make a play. But in the trenches, man, holding's every damn play. The offensive lineman trying to find a way to slow you down.
Did you used to go tell the refs when you were younger, though? Did you used to say stuff to them?
Yeah, I used to be mad as hell at the ref. I used to scream at them, but now I'm saying I need
what
to
would you say?
I don't. We can't say it on the show, man. Come on, man.
You can. Oh, you can.
That's the beauty of hosting a podcast, AD. It's your podcast. You can say it.
As I got older, I started to understand, like, I need the refs on my side. I don't want the refs to be, I don't want to be my enemies out there, right? So it'd be like, come on, ref. And then as you make a name for yourself, you got to build that rapport with certain refs. You look at them like, I'm going to look at them. I got AD, I'm going to watch it. All right, there you go. You might get a call once here and there. Sitting there complaining, screaming at the ref ain't going to help you, right? On to the next play and find a way to get after it, so.
I think that's the interesting thing, too. You said it. You get to know the refs. You get to know the guys on the field. The longer you play, the more of a relationship that you end up having, with a back judge, or in our case, it was with the referee. So, like, I mentioned Carl Cheffers, who's out there doing that. I probably had Carl 30 times, as the referee of the game. So you get to know these guys pretty well, and they give you leeway because I think, like you said, AD, there's times where they could probably call a penalty on every play.
I got away with some calls too. Yeah,
right.
I got away with some
Absolutely.
calls too.
And
for
so
sure.
They give you some leeway in terms of playing it, but I think you're always, at least from the quarterback position, I think you're always in communication with them and, telling them either, hey, you missed that. I think you're going to, if they come back to it, if that happens again, like you got to be on top of this, and they'll say yes. They probably just blow you off, but they'll engage with you and they'll talk to you, but you have relationships with these guys on the field because you're seeing them. If you play 10 plus years, you're seeing these guys 30, 40 times in your career.
Did you guys ever scout or get a quote unquote game plan on referee teams and what they're most inclined to call or not call and take advantage of it?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like what can you get away with?
Every week you would get a breakdown on what this crew calls, right? This crew is number one in defensive pass interference calls. Facts. So we've got to be mindful of that as DBs. This crew is the lowest in the league in terms of offensive holding calls. So we're not saying hold, but let's make them call it.
You can get away with some shit.
Yeah, exactly. Let's make them call it. So you definitely know, what crews are calling this, and every coaching staff I was a part of on Friday mornings, we would go through it. You would get their pictures, their names, what they call, what the crew is calling.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, there's
broke it down to
college also, or just in the pros?
We didn't do it in college.
No, just pros for me. But it's about winning games, man. You're trying to find any advantage you can get in a game of football to win a game, right? And nowadays they got so much stats on everything that you can break down to a T to understand what's going on, just to try to give you an advantage to go out there and win a game, man. That's what it's about.
AD, like if you saw a referee crew that was not high ranked in terms of offensive line holding, would you ever go to them before the game? Like, you got to watch these guys. I'm telling you, like, they're going to be holding me here and there. Like, and do you ever get a call because of that? It's like basketball, like you let them know, watch, man, they're going to follow me here.
Yeah, only if a ref came up to me before the game and was like, "What's up, AD? Good luck today." I'd be like, "Hey, make sure you watch out for them home calls," but he high type of thing. But not really. During the game, if you're getting some home calls, you'd be like, you just tell the ref, could you just watch out? They keep like, "Ref, come on, man. I got 4 guys blocking me. You can't watch the hole. Can I get a little help?" Something like that. But I ain't gonna keep complaining. I'm not gonna keep complaining. I'm just gonna play the game on make sure he got his eyes on it just to help me out a little bit down the road. So
I try to butter him up. Hey, Mr. Hockley, how's your wife Jennifer doing? She still like that lobster? Maybe we'll send her something to the hotel or something.
Trying to win. You got to find an advantage. Definitely when you got 3-4 guys blocking you every same damn play, you got to get yours where you can get it at.
Listen, AD, Micah Parsons was one of your defensive players of the week just a few weeks ago, and he had some strong comments after their 3-point loss to Carolina. Here is Ryan Wood, the Packers beat writer from USA Today, talking to Micah Parsons afterwards and asked him about Bryce Young's performance, and then that performance ending with a victory for them and a loss for Green Bay.
I think they had 2 total dropbacks all game. Everything else was like 1, 2, and slides. I mean, it's tough. They had 2 dropbacks all game. Like, I mean, they threw 100 yards. So, I mean, if we lose a game like that in the NFL, like, we just didn't play good. Like, not too many quarterbacks is throwing for 100 yards and winning the game.
Gave a point, AD. Not many quarterbacks throwing for 100 yards and winning.
Yeah, but you got to give some credit to that Panthers defense, too. They held Green Bay to 6 points in the first half, made them turn the ball over. They played good football, right? It was one of them type of games, right? But again, they did rush for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I was going to say, Rico Dowdle,
like, I'm saying?
You got to stop him, too.
You got to stop him, right? You got to, to be able to rush the passer, you got to stop the run and be able to, that's your reward when you stop the run. You get the opportunity to rush after and get after the quarterback. If you don't do that, it don't matter how they beat you or how they score as long as they do it. And they did that. And their defense held up on the other side with the Panthers against Green Bay, made them turn the ball over, had a big pick. What was that, in the third quarter? He had a big pick. Should have had another one late in the game. They dropped it in the end zone. So get some credit to them for finding a way to win the game, right? So when you typically got a quarterback throwing for 100 yards, that means y'all had a great day and y'all probably beat the hell out of them. But it wasn't that case for this game. So at the end of the day, it's about winning, right? Any way you can find a way to win a game, as long as you do it.
Yeah, I think it typically means one of two things. You either, blew this team out, right? He threw for 100 yards. You got after him. They couldn't do anything offensively. Or it means that they ran it down your throat. and they weren't worried about throwing the football. And it's probably somewhere in the middle right here in terms of this game. But, credit to Carolina. They've come out. I don't think anybody would have said, 9 games into it, we'd be talking about them sitting at 5-4, above 500, particularly if Bryce Young was going to have stat lines like that, 11 of 20, right around 100 yards passing. But every defensive coach I was ever around, AD, would say you have to earn the right to rush 100%. The passer. And you earn the right to rush the passer by shutting down the run.
Correct.
I think there probably was a bit of frustration from Micah, and that's fair, a bit of frustration with the offense, only scoring 13 points and coming away from that game and feeling like defensively it was good enough to get the job done. But at the same time, he said and I take that for all of us. I take Micah saying we needed to play better as we needed to play better against the run. We needed to play better offensively. We needed to take the ball away when we had our opportunities. We needed to do it better. So I do think he's including the defense. I think he's including everybody in that comment.
So no way is the media man right here in this podcast trying to stir the pot, but I am going to ask, but because he said the word we, that was important to you, Matt. Otherwise, you might have perceived it if you were in that locker room as a shot to the offense.
Words matter, Zach. Words matter. And, what you say matters. And he said we. And so I'm always going to, side on the or fall on the side of the player. It's difficult when you're in front of the microphone, but he said we, and I take him for his word.
Hold him accountable.
Right. Hold him
accountable. What do you think, Zach? Hey, what do you think?
To your point, he said we. Hey, listen, if he didn't say we, if he said, we shouldn't, it's all in the words, it's all in the language, in the specific language, which brings me to this, Matt.
I was going to say, how about the Cincinnati?
Yes.
Do we got any of that audio?
We have this audio right here. AD shaking his head. This is a new ad to the podcast rundown. So the Bengals score in the final minute to go up in Chicago 42-41. They're up with 17 seconds to go.
Hold on one
second.
Hold on. Was this before or after Tremaine Edmonds had that amazing pick in the run back for a touchdown that got called back? He may or may not be a client. I was just asking for a friend.
Okay, just get it out there.
Matt's like, just get it.
Just get it in there. Perfect.
All right, thank you. Go ahead. Keep going.
We'll cut that later.
Don't edit that. It should either.
I'm not. I'm just going to follow up. Are you going to appeal the NFL and say it should have been a pick six? Is that part of the appeal process?
No,
I don't think you'll get it.
Okay. So while Micah Parsons did talk and said the word we after that disappointing loss, several members of the Bengals defense that gave up that late touchdown did not talk to reporters. They no-showed. They weren't available after giving up that late lead. But one of the offensive guys was there, guys. Chase Brown. He's the Bengals running back.
Look at AD.
I would have. She won't show my face neither. Shit.
The towel over his head.
No, you would have showed up.
Thought my computer froze.
So here is what happened. And I'm just going to play this out. And then Todd and I, we're going to shut up. And then we are just going to get reaction from AD first about Chase Brown, the Bengals running back after this game. And this is courtesy of James Rapien. I think Rapien, I pronounced his name right, from BengalsTalk.com. Here we go.
We just got to play complimentary football. Like, we put the ball in the end zone. and go up a point at the end, finish the fucking game. Like, just end it. Like, that's it. Like, that's what we need to do. Just end the fucking game. Like, make them get us the ball back. Let us fucking go to 22 victory and let's end the game. That's how I feel.
I love the passion personally.
Yeah, it's just frustration though, right? What was the score of the game? 47 or what?
47-42.
Like, that's crazy. And then they scored fourth quarter with how much time left in that when they drove down there and ended up getting that pass. They missed a tackle. He broke and scored a touchdown to end it. That's just bad football, man. So, it sounds like a lot of frustration. Obviously, we talk about defense of playing football, right? I think that showed the type of performance that defense put out there. Wasn't great. I can't imagine, being in that locker room with that team. Obviously, when you think your offense drive down, score a touchdown, all we got to do is stop him. We win this game. He catch a ball, you miss a tackle, he break and score a touchdown. That's embarrassing, but it's a lot of frustration, it seemed like, on that defense side of the ball. Some things they need to fix, trying to find a way to clean up. But it ain't looking too good for the Bengals right now, man. I feel like they season's kind of, going down the toilet right now. So
yeah, those comments are that's not 1 week, one week's worth of comments, right? Like, that's not a one-off. Hey, we got in a shootout, crazy game, we lost. That's been the case.
Yes.
Every week.
Yep.
For the Bengals. And so, I understand the frustration when you're playing in those types of games week in and week out, and you're like, come on, man, get one stop. And repeatedly it doesn't happen. So I'm with Todd. I think, I appreciate guys' passion, guys' energy, how much it means to them. I think that is evident in those comments. But it's hard because I've been a part of that. Maybe not to this level, but I've been a part of it where seasons are like that, and you're playing and you're scoring points, and you feel like, man, if we could just get one stop here or there, one stop here or there, we could have a very different record. But I would argue the opposite is true too. There are drives and there are points that the offense left on the field, and you have to somehow, some way, go back and look at that tape and say, listen, there was more we could do offensively. And I think that's just the way you have to look at it as a competitor, as a teammate. You have to control, like AD and I keep going back to, you have to control the things that you can control. And you can't go out there and make a tackle. I couldn't make a tackle as a quarterback. Chase Brown's not making a tackle as a running back out there on defense. You got to control the things you can control and try and find a way to do better. But I understand and get the frustration because that Bengals defense, I mean, it's bad. It's bad.
It is.
And you watch them week in and week out, and
that's who they are.
It's hard to watch. I sit next to Bill Cowher every weekend and watch these games, and he's like offended by the type of defense that they're playing, watching it as a defensive guy. It's offensive to him. And so that part is actually pretty funny to watch. Bill gets so frustrated with this stuff. But it is, I mean, it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch what they're doing defensively.
AD, if that was your running back, you just put the defense on blast. Was it best that it came in a bye week and you didn't have to see them on Monday? Or how would you have reacted?
I wouldn't be mad. You got to hold somebody accountable. It is the defense, right? Sometimes you got to hold people accountable. Maybe sometimes it ain't right to say it over the media, but sometimes you got to let guys know you got to do better, right? There's only so much the offense can do, so many points they can score. At the end of the day, the defense is getting paid on the opposite side to make tackles, to make plays, to help that team to win games, and they're not doing it. So it's frustration. Definitely when you should have won a game, you feel like you should have won a game, and you lose and you fall short off bad tackling, bad defense. Man, sometimes you got to call people out sometimes, right?
And it's like, what could you say? There ain't nothing you could say back to him.
And at that moment, he's mad as after. I know how I was after a damn loss in the locker room, and have to be in front after that type of loss and have to speak. He did a great job, but he spoke and he felt how he felt, and he said what he needed to say, and the defense need to hear that, and they got to do better, right? They got to, because what they've been putting on film the past couple of weeks ain't it.
No, it is not it.
It's not it. It's not it. My two worst defenses that I've been watching, no shade, but it would be the Bengals and what I seen last night with Dallas. That shit's horrible. It's just bad defense. It's just bad ball. So you can't win games with a teams like that, with a defense like that, I should say.
Why are they so bad?
Who? Which one?
Tell me. Bengals, Cowboys.
You got to be able to stop the run. You got to be able to rush the pass. You got to be a great defense overall, right? I just don't see it, right? I don't see no leadership on the defense. I don't see nobody bringing their guys up saying nothing. I don't see none of this as a defense, right? And when you just out there, it's like they just out there, they just playing, right? It's like it don't look like they playing for nothing. They don't look like they all on the same page. It just things ain't clicking. You got to be clicking. Everybody got to be on the same page. You got to communicate. You need great leadership. I don't see that in defenses. And to have a great defense, you need them traits on your field, on your defense, to help, be successful. If you don't got that, you're going to get the performances you've been seeing. No matter how great your offense is, no matter how many pieces you got on offense, if you don't got that on defense and doing what they need to do on the opposite side of the ball, you don't got a chance to win games.
I think it starts with stopping the run. Like, we continue to go back to this, right, AD? And both of these teams, when you watch Dallas and you watch Cincinnati, the inability to stop the run and to force any team to be, one-dimensional, to earn that right to rush the passer. And I don't think they can rush the passer regardless, but it starts with stopping the run. And when you watch that Chicago game, it was like right from the start.
Yep.
Chicago was getting downhill, under center, handing the ball off to the backs, getting downhill and just dominating the line of scrimmage. And the same is true in the Cowboys game. I think Arizona goes for over 100 yards rushing in that game last night too. And so it starts at the line of scrimmage. Like, before you can even get to the secondary and the missed tackles in the secondary, the missed tackles at linebacker, you have to win on the line of scrimmage on the defensive side of the ball, both versus the run and the pass. But it starts with the run, and I think both those teams do a poor job of that.
Todd, from an agent standpoint, with what these guys are saying on stopping the run, are the guys in the trenches, are they the most quote unquote valuable assets to teams? Do they see it the same way, and in that turn helps you in the negotiation process?
Zach, the most valuable?
Defense. We're talking defense.
Oh, okay.
Defense.
I mean,
it's just like a quarterback over here, B. Damn.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you'll see. I mean, all I got to do is look at the pay scale. Defensive lineman versus a linebacker or versus a safety, for sure. The trenches are going to get paid more, and they're valued more because of that.
But not the most. We got you back.
Well, what I will say about that Dallas game, I think that Dante Fowler, he had some sparks out there. He had some good rushes. Clowney started to have some good rushes there.
Yes.
Got after the quarterback. And Clark, he had 2 sacks. So they made some plays. But again, when you can't stop the run and you can pop the ball, hand the ball off for 10 yards a pop, 15 yards a pop, and then go off that and be able to. If it's 3rd and 18 going against Dallas defense, you got a chance to make that first down. And it's showing on film. If you watch that on film, if it's 3rd and long, you typically 3 and out. If it's 3rd and 15, look, first down, the drive continue. Them guys be out there so damn long, fatigued and tired. Like, it's like, golly, man. But they got to do better as a defense, right? They got to try to find ways to. I don't know what they can do, honestly. I know people talking about trade and who could they trade for. They need to. What, they gonna trade the whole defense for a whole new defense? That's what. Like, I ain't trying to throw shit, but that's not how it works. So I'm like, what do you do, man? I don't see it.
Supply and demand to AD. You're the demand. Their supply out there is non-existent. I mean, so Todd, AD, should we just break some? I mean, they need you, AD. I'm just saying, the Cowboys. Todd, you're in Dallas right now. Anything? Bueller? Anything?
Hey, Todd, I need a lot of money to go Dallas right now.
If that's on the table, you didn't tell me that was even on the table.
No. Let me stop.
Okay.
Let me stop.
Okay. Just saying.
Another win for the.
I know some people. We can make some calls.
I'm going to be out there getting jumped. What am I going to be able to do? Just getting blocked by 4 people every play? Hell no. No, thank you. No, thank you.
We started out the season talking about AD getting double and triple teamed. Midway through this podcast series, talking about getting a quad as the only member of the Dallas Cowboys. One team that's getting some dubs, the New England Patriots. They are now 7-2. ESPN's Mike Reese throwing out this great stat about the Patriots receivers, Matt, that in their 9 games so far, they've had 6 different guys lead this team in receiving. What does that do for a quarterback?
You're spreading it around,
yes.
Which is awesome, right? You're going to where coverage dictates. And I think that's one of the things Drake May's doing such a good job of right now is, Josh McDaniels creating favorable matchups. He's throwing the ball where it should go, and he's not worried about, force feeding one guy. And I think that makes it all the more difficult. I think AD can speak to it when you've got multiple pieces that you can use and a defense can't key in on one particular player. It makes it really difficult to defend, but you got to have guys to be able to do that. And New England, I've been impressed. I mean, I've been impressed with the number of different guys that are out there making plays, whether it's Kayshon Boutte, Demario Douglas, different guys like that. Tight ends. We've got Austin Hooper, who I played with, is playing really, really well up there. Hunter Henry's doing a great job. They're using the backs well. Ramondre Stevenson has been making plays too. So I think it's great as a quarterback when you got multiple pieces that you can go out there and use. But you have to have the guy that can do it too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, part of the reason all of these different guys are having the type of success that they're having is because I think Drake May is playing really good football. And that's the hope when you draft a young player in the top 3 at the quarterback position. And he'll elevate the people around him. He'll bring the best out of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you're seeing that right now. If Drake May is making all of these players around him play at their very best levels, and that's why they're having success. So I think it's a combination of the two. They got a lot of pieces, but he's also making all of those pieces more valuable and doing a great job of distributing the football.
AD, is it harder when you're facing like a team that has its number, a typical go-to number 1, so to speak, versus having, a whole bunch of guys yeah.
Well, it kind of spread that secondary thin, right? You got multiple options. You just can't focus on 1 or 2 guys. It's multiple guys, right? And definitely as a pass rusher, it's frustrating because you're hoping them guys are getting covered, so you got an opportunity, to put the pressure, get the quarterback hits, to get the sacks. But when it's multiple guys, you got to worry about, it's a lot of game planning that a defense got to do to try to find a way to make sure the matchups is right. And it's no mismatches to the point where they can pick you apart. So, they're a tough team. A lot of good pieces around them. They playing good football. They're a tough team to stop right now. So
I think this whole podcast we've been talking about running the football, but I think for New England, the reason they've got the number of guys that they have with multiple 100-yard games in the passing game is because they're come out. I mean, Zach, you watched that Atlanta game. They came out. Their game plan was we were going to run it right down your throat, and we were going to be physical. We are going to pound the football, and we are going to force you to come up, AD, and play 8-man spacing, have 8 guys around the ball. Well, what does that do for multiple targets, right? We've got multiple one-on-ones on the outside, which is favorable for guys that might not be household names, right? You have the opportunity to go win those one-on-ones, but it starts with the run game in New England, and Josh McDaniels doing a good job with that.
And it make it. That's why I said it make it hard for a defense to try to game plan against that team, right? So they're a complete team. Right, definitely on the offensive side of the ball. So
one would think, Todd, that if you're a wide receiver, you're like, they're calling you right now. Every wide receiver, hey, get me. If you're not the star receiver on your team, get me to New England. Get me to New England. That seems like a pretty good situation, and people hitting you up about that.
I'm sure you could have it both ways, right? I mean, selfishly, as an agent, you want to have a guy. If you're going to have a number 1 guy, you want a number 1 guy who's constantly getting the ball and having as much production as possible when you go to do his contract. But I think the number 1 thing you want when you have a receiver is you want a good quarterback with a good O-line and who has a potential to at least get you the ball. And that's obviously happening. And so you can't necessarily control every ball coming your way as a receiver. I just think that it's a huge positive to have a young, good quarterback that it gives you the shot to get that ball. Again, selfishly, I think you want all of it coming your way. But at the end of the day, I also don't have to have my receiver be the leading receiver every week. I just need to have a receiver be productive because production equals higher money and a better contract and happiness with the receiver. Because as Matt said, he's never played where a receiver hasn't come running to him in the huddle, how open he is, or give me the ball. And you want that. You want those guys to do that. I mean, you would be like, if you had a receiver who was satisfied with never getting the ball, like that's a problem. Like, and I have a guy that I'm not going to talk about.
You don't have the guy.
No, exactly. And I have a guy who I'm not going to name names, but he's frustrated he's not getting the rock as much. And I tell him, I go, your emotion, that's exactly what you should feel like. If you didn't feel this, I'd actually have questions for you. So it's okay and hang in there. And by the way, the next week it completely changes. So it's like week to week and game plans dictate things. And he could be, featured in certain things and it doesn't happen next week. He's like, yeah, I didn't get much ball in practice and I'm not going to get the ball this week. I don't think there's not much call for me. And meanwhile, he ended up getting a ton because things change in the flow, right, Matt? Like it's not,
absolutely.
You go into thinking this is going to happen and then you adapt to how the game goes and it's a whole different animal.
I'll say this about New England. As much as we've given them love and as well as they have played and as great as they have distributed the ball, if they had a true alpha at 1 with the way that they run the ball, a true dog 1 wide receiver, like I think that's a piece they're missing. If they really want to be, Super Bowl contender, you're talking about going and playing against the best of the best in the AFC, whether you're taking on Buffalo again, or you're taking on Kansas City in the playoffs or Denver's defense right now. Like I still think They might be a few pieces away, and they've got lots of money, right, Todd? Lots of money to spend this coming free agency. We'll see if anything happens. This is going to come out on Wednesday. We're recording this on Tuesday, but we'll see if something happens this afternoon. And they're aggressive in that department, because I do think, as good as they've been, they could be even better with a true dog at the one spot for wide receiver for him.
No, Stefan's not a true dog?
No, he was. It's just not that part of his career. And I love Steph Diggs, right? And I think he's playing really well. And he was as good as anybody in his prime, but I don't think he's at that part of his career. And that's not a shot on him. I think he's had a hell of a career. I just don't think – I think there are other guys in the league that you would categorize in front of maybe a Stephon Diggs.
We're moving on to the NFC West, and it is loaded. You got Seattle 6-2, the Rams 6-2, San Francisco 6-3, and Mac Jones was asked by a reporter, do you feel like you've been allowed to be yourself here more than at any other organization? He says, I really do feel that way. It's not a knock at anybody else, not a knock at any of those teams. I just feel that this organization has a lot of laid-back people, and that's more of my personality. How much of that, Matt, that factor, that comfortability, play into his success, his mindset, and what he's able to do out west?
I take him for his word on it, right? That's the way he feels right now, and feels like he's playing his best football in that environment, but played pretty good at Alabama. And I can't imagine the Saban model there was laid back. Yeah, right? There had to have been something that worked for him in that Alabama situation as well. I think it comes down to play caller. I really do. I think it comes down, when you look at what he did in New England with Josh McDaniel, his rookie year, he played very good football. And I think went to the Pro Bowl as a rookie, in his first season. And then it changed, right? You had Joe Judge, and I think Matt Patricia became his offensive coordinators, who were special teams and defensive coaches. And then he moves on and he goes to different spots, and then ends up in San Francisco. So I think part of it is, maybe he feels that way because he's a little more laid back, and, but Kyle can be tough. He can be really difficult at times. So I think there is probably some of that to the laid back. What I think is more important, at least from my perspective, is the guy that's calling plays and the scheme that he's running, and being in a position to be successful over and over and over. And it's amazing how, when you have a little bit of success, the whole atmosphere starts to feel better, right? The vibe is a little bit better. Confidence is there. You start feeling a little bit better about yourself. And I'm happy for Mac that he has that.
Confidence is half the battle. You got that confidence to go out there, know you can do it. He go out there and he's doing it. He got some players around him that it ain't really got to put it all on his shoulders, though, right? You can spread the ball out how you need to spread it out. They do a good job of doing play action and certain things to get easy passes for him. So, and once you do that, and you see the success, you having the success, you feeling good, that play a huge part in it as well, right? And anybody can do that. Anybody can do that. Now, I can play
get out. Anybody can do it. Get out of here. All right.
Put me at quarterback, and I can do that.
No, it's true though for players. I mean, situation matters, coaching matters, supporting cast matters, system matters, scheme, whether it's offense, defense, all of that stuff matters. And for good or bad, you can have a guy who's productive and it changes, and then he's not as good, or vice versa. You take a guy who wasn't successful, put him somewhere else, and all of a sudden he flourishes. So it works both ways. I've said it multiple times, even when it comes to draft. I'd rather have a guy go a little bit lower to the right place than higher and not in the right fit, because that's not what's going to make him work big time for the future.
And I feel like I'm hammering this home all podcasts, but they run the ball well. Yes. And they make it difficult on defenses, and you've got to come up, you've got to stop the run, you've got to stop Christian McCaffrey, you've got to stop their scheme. And what does that do? It opens up lanes to throw the football. So as much as we can talk about the pass game, and I love talking about the pass game, I feel like we've gone back and forth this entire episode of just talking about it. All starts with the run game, stopping the run, being able to run the football. If you can do that, you're going to be successful. And that's allowed Mac to be so successul.
If I were to give you 100 adjectives to describe Kyle Shanahan, would laid back be one of them?
No. I mean, Zach, you've been around him. That's why I laugh when I saw those comments. I'm like, wow, there must be some other laid back people in that building.
Maybe some smoke in the air. It's California cool. Right. I don't know what legal shit out there. I don't know. I'm not alleging anything. I'm just saying a little different vibe.
Yeah, laid back would not be the one thing I would. And listen, I love Kyle Shanahan. Love him. He's an excellent coach. He is not laid back. He is not laid back.
No,
he is
I second that.
Tight. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
He's only laid back when he's talking to you in your headset when you make a bad play, and then he tells you you can't.
Right.
You haven't earned the right to throw it. You got to run it.
Here's the draw. Here we go. Run the draw, Matt. You have not earned the right to throw it.
So good. Well, there's another open spot in the college football ranks, guys. Hugh Freeze bounced at Auburn, and Todd and I were trading text messages because I wasn't, texting with you guys because I wasn't on those.
So that's
Did you guys work out, by the way?
Separate group.
Did you guys work out, by the way?
No. Todd has not been to the workout yet.
Okay, just
the other guys are asking about it too.
Okay.
The other guys are starting to ask about it.
Look at that work.
When's Todd coming? When's Todd coming?
Mm-hmm.
Come in. I'm bringing my video guy too. Go ahead.
Please don't. Please don't.
But yeah, we're gonna get some clips of you. They'll never talk about working out with me again. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
The expectation and the pressure and the unrealistic scope some of these fan bases have. Steve Sarkisian, 5 years at Texas, took over a 7-3 team with deep NIL pockets. He's 45-19 overall. Top coach, Arch Manning. Josh Heupel, 5 years at Tennessee, took over a 3-7 team. Had some limitations with scholarships. Their NIL nowhere near Texas. 43-18. It's not really good enough. Hugh Freeze obviously wasn't good enough. He's bounced. Where do you guys take this college football landscape, these openings, and some of these fan bases where you can have comparable records? One view it as hey, we're here on the doorstep of everything. And the other says, you know what? We just need to get rid of everybody and have a fire sale.
It's out of control. I mean, in my opinion, it's out of control. And you talk about it. But I mean, I guess the one difference you could make in the Sark Heupel thing is Sark has had them in the college football playoff in the semifinals the last 2 years. And Josh Heupel took them to the playoff last year. I think they lost. I think they lost to Ohio State. So you lost to a national champion in the playoff. It's ridiculous. It's outrageous. Josh Heupel's a good football coach. He has done an excellent job at Tennessee. They're relevant again, which I think is huge for the University of Tennessee. I have a lot of friends that are UT supporters, that are UT alum. And, from them, I don't get the sense that they're disappointed with Josh. So I'm confused with where, that narrative is coming from that fan base, that being relevant, that being a part of it, that having night games at Neyland Stadium again on prime time isn't good enough. You're going to lose football games. The landscape of college football is as competitive as it's ever been because of NIL. And you can have programs that aren't historical programs now be just as significant, and I think we're seeing it every week. But to think Josh Heupel needs to go, I think that's outrageous. It's crazy.
I can't wait till we have some shows and we talk NIL and we will do that coming up, especially with the portal opening and this college season ending and all that type of stuff. It'll be really interesting. But I read a Jerry Jones comment about the changing defensive coordinator so many times and it affecting his team. Do you guys think with these coaching changes, from an offensive perspective, different coach, different scheme, different culture, different playbook, you got to learn a whole new thing. Same thing on defense. Like, does that affect you guys when these changes happen? And obviously at the pro level, it's one thing. Maybe college, it's different. Then you have the recruiting aspect in college, but some of these kids are signing because of the coach. Some of them are just signing because they want to go to that school, so it's not as big of a deal. But like, how does all that play in when all these coaching changes are always happening?
Well, I think all of these coaches changes happening, right? And the scheme changing. You recruit and you draft and you build your roster for a certain scheme. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what Jerry's talking about. And I actually respect him for that, having looked at it and saying, you know what, I've had too much turnover. Some of that because Dan Quinn left to take a head coaching gig. But I've had too much turnover at the defensive coordinator position, and each guy that comes in is different and is asking for different types of pieces. It becomes really difficult to build a really solid group when you've got coaches that are coming in and asking guys to do things that maybe they're not capable of, but they did well in the last scheme. It's really, really difficult. And I think that's,
everyone's not an Aaron Donald who fits any scheme, no matter who the coach is.
Most people do not fit every scheme. But the Aaron Donald's the unicorn, right?
I don't fit every scheme. I'm not a two-gap guy. I couldn't go when the Steelers was two-gap and then play a true three-man front. And you want me to just play this and play A gap, C gap, or A gap. I could do it sometimes, but that's not my game. I'm a penetrator. Like I can do it, but I want to get the plays and make the plays in the backfield. I don't want to make a 2-yard tackle. I want to make a 2-yard loss or a 5-yard loss. So it depends, man. That can affect the player in a lot of different ways, right? Like you said, it's like going to a new team every single year when you're changing up a scheme, right? If you're a 4-3 team and you change up to a 3-4, whatever the case is, it's like, all right, now you got to learn new technique, how to play this position, right? Same thing with me from growing up playing a 4-3 my whole life, right? And then going to like the new age 4-3, that's like that 3-man front, but it's really like you got your Will and your Sam backers outside. So now I got to play a 4 out. Now I got to learn how to, strike and use my technique instead of just penetrating and leaving a crease, because it's a different game. It's a different, different schemes, different things you got to do. So when you change that up, it's hard for you to grasp that. And it's good to learn different schemes anyway, but it's hard to grasp that sometimes and get everybody on the same page. Definitely if you draft this guy to be a 3-5 end, and now you go to a 4-3, and now you got to put his hand in the dirt. You don't know how that affect the guy. He can't do it. He's not able to do that. And then now you got to try to find a new piece to the puzzle to put here and put here. And you never get this as a defense, right? That's the main goal, is to trying to get a defense, everybody on the same page. Everybody know what they need to do. Everybody got experience of playing the same defense, understanding how this guy play. And when you keep changing it every year, it's hard to like trying to get yourself going like that. So that can affect it in a lot of ways.
That's what I love about this podcast. It's so educational. I mean, AD saying that he cannot go to every single scheme defensively, but he can go to the offensive scheme in San Francisco and be quarterback. He can plug and play right there. Way to go, AD.
Love it. Hey, my last thing on this, Zach, is like, and Sark said it, like, who are you going to get? Everybody's getting fired. We're cutting everybody. We want to get rid of quarterbacks after a year. Like, who are you going to get? Who's going to come in? Who's going to be a better football coach than Josh Heupel at the University of Tennessee? Like, I have no idea. And he has not been, we're not saying that, but like,
sure.
The frustration with him is like, who are you going to get that is better than him?
What's the plan?
No
exactly. AD, hit us up. We need some theme music. We'll get some for your defensive player of the week. Who we got? And I'm sure if you want this week, we can start a new episode, your NFC defensive rookie of the week honors.
So
we can do
I
that
do
as
got
well.
a defensive rookie of the week, but this week I don't just got one guy. I just put 2 defenses down. I just went straight defense this week. So I'm gonna get some light to Nolan, the rookie D tackle, 97 for the Arizona, his first rookie start right this week, first time playing.
Yeah, he was out all season because of a calf. So this was his first game, yes, in Dallas last night. I was there watching.
3 tackles, a sack, batted pass in his debut. I think that sack he had was in the fourth quarter too, wasn't it? Fourth quarter with 5 minutes left in the game, so it was a big sack in the game. He played some good football, man. So good job, big dog, for your first rookie game. The guy
clap it up to Walter Nolan.
Yeah, clap it up, and a big one for them on prime time Monday Night Ball, man. But I had to get some light to my Rams defense, man. I think they've been playing good. They last 3 games they played. It might be a little biased, but
that's all right.
They played the Ravens, beat them 7, only gave up 3 points. They played the Jags, beat them, only gave up 7 points, and then they just beat the Saints, man, and only gave up 10 points. So they've been playing some good ball. That's 20 points in 3 games, man. So a lot of improvement from what they've been doing. I think the secondary been playing a lot better. Obviously up front they've been getting after it, man. So I just wanted to show some light to my Rams, but I also want to give a shout out to the Steelers defense. The last 2 weeks been tough for them, man. They've been giving up a lot, but they played a good Colts team with a explosive offense, and they did what they needed to do and play some good ball to help them win that game, man. Made some plays, got after the quarterback, T.J. Watt, with that big strip sack for them to get the ball back and get the ball to Aaron Rodgers to go down there and score, man. So shout out to the Steelers for a big turnaround week, after having 2 bad weeks, man. So I just wanted to show some light to them, man. Shout out to the Steelers defense, man. Clap it up for them. They needed that. They needed that confidence back, baby. And that's like the Steel City right there, man. So let's keep it up, fellas. Keep it up.
5 turnovers, you usually win.
Yes, you do.
Well done.
Playing good ball though. Last
2 minutes drill time, Matt. Get that clock ready.
Clock's up and running. All right, order. We're going to start with AD, then we'll go Todd, Zach, okay? All right, here we go. All right, AD, you've been talking about being able to play quarterback in Kyle Shanahan's system. I got a question for you, though. Would you rather play quarterback for Kyle or would you rather play for Sean?
Sean.
Yeah,
duh.
Okay, all day. One word answer. I love it. All right, Todd, more stressful. Trade deadline. We've seen you checking your phone. Trade deadline, free agency, or the draft?
Free agency. for sure.
Free agency, number one.
Yes.
Okay. Zach, what sport has the best trade deadline? What sport provides the most entertainment at the trade deadline?
The NBA trading deadline, because those guys move.
Close.
It's not even close. There's always chaos there. A lot more movement, a lot bigger names.
Massive superstars moving. It changed the dynamic of the whole league. All right, AD, we're back to you. Rams, you've been talking on them. Defense, giving them a shout out. Are they the best team in the NFC?
In the NFC, yeah, I would say that. They've been playing good. Offense is solid. Defense been playing a lot better. I would say, yeah, right now at this point in time in the season, yes.
All right, Todd, trade deadline this afternoon. If you could trade one member of the inner circle, who is getting traded and who is
out,
coming
boys.
in?
We'll see you guys in a little bit. Thanks for joining us.
Zach Klein, we enjoy your presence and we appreciate. No, I wouldn't trade any of you guys. You guys are all not tradable. I appreciate it. You
can't trade your pickleball partner. You can't trade your pickleball partner. We killed it this weekend.
Oh, we did kill it this weekend. Yeah, no, for sure.
Well done. Well done at pickleball.
Good job.
And thank you for not trading me. I appreciate that. Zach, our resident SEC expert, we were talking coaches, coaching changes. Lane Kiffin, where does he end up? Does he stay at Ole Miss? Does he go to Florida? Does he go to LSU? What is your very early prediction?
Early prediction is he makes more money and he stays in Oxford, Mississippi. He's got a great thing going. Todd mentions it all the time. Grass always isn't greener on the other side. I think Lane Kiffin stays at Ole Miss.
Bam. That wraps our 2-minute 2:05. Well done, boys.
You think he stays there, by the way?
I kind of think he stays there. I do. I think, the more you watch it, like what would make going to a place like LSU right now or Florida, where it's been a struggle the last handful of years, any more lucrative if the money isn't different than what he's doing in Oxford. I just think it's so different now. Why would you leave?
Yeah. No need. It's like the NFL. I mean, in terms of there's no in the college football, you would have 2 or 3 great teams every year that were just so far away better than everybody else.
Yeah. I think the tiering system, like the blue blood system, that part is evaporating.
Behind the scenes, forgetting how much he's going to get paid or not, the behind the scenes, the booster money that's being raised, the corporate money that's being raised, all these extra resources being going to be thrown at the coach to say, hey, we're going to have all this extra above and beyond rev share money that you can use at your discretion to acquire more players. That type of stuff is going to be there too, because he's going to get paid whether he's at Ole Miss, he's going to get paid where he goes to LSU, wherever he goes. It's what extras are you going to do to be able to help me fund and have the best team?
Which makes sense, but then there also is, I think if you're weighing this, there's also the, but how long is my leash going to be here? If I leave Ole Miss and they're thrilled with what we're doing and where we're trending and where we're going, and I leave and I go to Florida, what if, you were giving all of that to Billy Napier, you were giving all of that to,
Will Muschamp. They're paying 4 coaches right now, or they will be.
No, I was saying Ole Miss is going to be doing that to keep him for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No, I agree.
That's going to put a bow on this show, gentlemen. Much love. We appreciate you. We'll see you guys next week on The Inner Circle.